I felt like a hillbilly there for a minute.
Yeah.
Do you guys know what that is?
It sounded familiar, but I'm not 100% sure what the title is.
Do you guys ever watch Benny Hill when you were kids?
Oh, yes. Okay, yeah. It's all coming back.
Yeah. Remember him? Dude, he was like, God. Oh, I love that show. And I think I was like, 11 years old, 8 years old?
Yeah. I probably wasn't even born yet because I'm so young. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you know, I'm gonna tell you. So you're the let's see, what is today? The 14th?
Yeah.
You're the 14th, I'm the 12th.
Oh, happy birthday, man.
Oh, happy birthday. Oh my God. Yeah, so it's Rob and Bill's birthday. So welcome everyone to IoT Coffee Talk. This is a birthday celebration.
There you go.
So
awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, literally now, when we say digital twins, we can.
You guys are entangled.
We are entangled.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Exactly. Yeah. And Bill's up in his high-rise office there. Background. I like that. With the Smart Connections Consulting label. I like that. It's good.
I like that. Yeah. Okay. When we were on Bonnie's podcast, I was going, man, I should switch out my backdrop. I had that like sort of artsy-fartsy looking thing. yours look like a friggin' commercial, man.
It's nice. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it looks like marketing.
Always be
marketing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yes. In addition to closing. Yeah. I know. Well, it feels great to turn 26 today. I just learned about IoT in college. Just graduated from college. I learned about IoT. I heard it's a bunch of Raspberry Pis with blinking lights. Sounds like a lot of fun,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That sounded like a Hostess commercial. A bunch of Raspberry Pis and.
Yeah. It is like a Hostess commercial. Oh my gosh!
And what is it? Ding dongs? What was it? Ding dongs? Twinkies and
Twinkies. All that healthy stuff. The stuff that they knew would survive a nuclear war and would still survive like thousands of years later. It'd still be there.
Still there. Still soft as ever.
Yeah. But isn't that true? Isn't that why they developed that food?
It's better living through history.
Because Twinkies are old. They're not. They weren't created yesterday. I mean, they've been around since the 50s or something like that. I recall seeing old Twinkie commercials. So maybe that was like the nuclear age food, survival food.
That's the food you would eat in your Airstream.
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Marc? Hey.
What's up? How's it going?
The legend, Mr. Balena.
Mr. Balena, yes. I'm in a really special place today.
Really?
I'm not sure. I think this place doesn't exist in the US.
It looks like it looks like a tent.
No, look at this. So it's like how do you call this place where the dogs are running or they do
dog
races?
Track?
A dog park?
Dog races.
Yeah, and they convert that into like a startup or an innovative building for startups or new companies.
Really? But dog tracks are really big. Are you sure this?
And they used to run. They used to run here. They convert that into like a park for children and.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
See, that's called repurposing of.
I like that.
Urban spaces.
Like that.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
And you're by yourself. What the hell?
Yeah, no dogs racing today.
Yeah.
No. I'm doing a meetup in 30 minutes.
Oh,
yeah, I just wanted to say hello.
And did you say that startups are using this space?
Like it's a special. I have a friend here, Jose, from the Things Network, Catalonia.
Hey, how's it going?
He cannot hear you. Don't
okay.
No, yeah, I don't know. It's just like a special. They took like a special topic, and like innovative companies on this special topic, they can apply to come here to work.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
It's like a public building from the city hall of Barcelona.
No. Oh, cool.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're going to be there soon. We're going to be there in what, 2.5 months? Can you believe that? Or is it 3.5?
What?
All of you are coming to Mobile World Congress, Barcelona?
I'm going to be there. I'll be there. I have to go. So, whether I like it or not.
Because you're an analyst?
Yeah.
No, because he wants to drink blackberry mojito.
There you go. There you go.
Man, I want to get some trips like you get.
Huh?
I want to get trips like you get. I want to go to MWC and have all expenses taken care of and everything like that.
Who says all expenses are taken care of? They're not all.
I know how you operate, man. I know how you operate.
Man. I'm a hustler.
I think sometimes Leonard's paying, and then other times they're flying him out to Hawaii or something. It just depends, I guess.
It all depends.
But
I mean, honestly, most of it. Huh?
He say invest. You never say pay. You say you invest money, right?
You're
investing. Exactly. Because so sometimes you're right. It's a business development opportunity.
Yeah.
Like lots of people would say, going to MWC or going to CES is a biz dev opportunity because all of your customers are going to be there in one place at the same time. And so, what a great way to meet everybody.
And you're making a great point because I actually prefer, because there's certain folks, they know who they are, that crap all over the big industry events, but I actually think that they're great. I mean, if you know how to work them, they're fantastic. If you don't, you're going to think that they're the biggest waste of money in the world. So, yeah, sure. But, don't trash it because you don't know how to play the game. You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying?
Maybe you should create a course, Leonard, on how to play the game.
The game. There you go. How to play the event game. You know what I would point them to? I'd say watch. Yeah, I tell them watch Wedding Crashers.
But honestly, the business model or the return of investment of events is a really hard topic. When you need to convince the return of investment of going to Mobile World Congress or places like this, it's really hard. It's super intangible from my point of view.
Yeah, for a lot of folks it is, but it's nice to be able to bask in the halo of that event going on, right?
But you're right. I think you have to convince your boss, or you might be your own boss in this case. You've got to show you're going to load up prior to going to the event. You need to fill up your calendar with meetings with people. This idea that we're going to spend a few days walking all around Fira Gran Via the whole time. It's like, nope, I got meeting, that kind of thing. Tapas, Rioja, Tempranillo. Yeah. Chorizo.
But I don't know. I mean, it's like, Bill, I mean, you've been in the game for a long time, dude. It's like, any pointers? Because, you can't go in there without doing your homework, you know what I'm saying? And it is an investment to get your chops up, I would say.
No doubt. I agree with you wholeheartedly, right? I mean, CES as well as MWC irrespective of where it's at, it's huge, to get everyone, not only your customers, clients and everything like that, but actually seeing the new stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And you have firsthand opportunity to get a look at it and then challenge it if necessary or endorse it if need be.
Yeah. That serendipity. That's why, I will be. Are you guys going to CES?
Yes,
I'm planning on being there. Yep.
Oh, dude, we gotta. It's like 2 weeks away. So we got to get our plans together. But yeah, what I'm looking forward to this year with CES is just bumping into stuff. I mean, I have my meetings and dinners and stuff, but I'm really looking forward to just wandering the halls, because that, for me, like with CES, that's the coolest thing, because there's so much crap there. There's a lot of stuff to just bump into, and go, wow, actually, that's really cool. I in previous years that I've gone to CES, I've identified technologies that now everyone's like talking about. Now there's a company called Letinar. They do these pinhole. It's like a pinhole. What do they call it? Pinhole lens or optical for AR glasses, and that's becoming like the new thing. Instead of having these reflective lenses or mirrors that channel the images into your eye, it uses these little pinholes, which is really cool. But I bumped into this company a while back, and just recently I had a friend refer me to this company in Silicon Valley, and I told him, hey, look, I bumped into a company that's been doing this in South Korea for 4 or 5 years already, So that's an example of that kind of bumping into certain technologies, having that kind of make an impression on you, and that may eventually become an important technology for something like XR or AR, right? Glasses.
Yeah,
it's cool.
That's cool. So are you guys staying in cool hotels, or are you like me downtown at a place you've never heard of before?
No, you know what?
My Uber ride is going to be a lot longer than yours, maybe. Just really? Being all. Oh yeah. Well, it's trying to find an available place that's not.
It's tough.
The price hasn't been jacked up to $3,000 or whatever.
Yeah,
that's always the challenge for CES and for MWC, of course.
MWC. Well, that's why I made my reservations a long time ago. Back when. What's that noise?
I don't know.
Do you guys know what that
is? It me or no?
I don't know.
Maybe
it sounds like keys. Oh, okay. Let's see.
Yeah. I'm going to be in Vegas a long time too. I'm going to be hanging out with our friends at Blues Wireless. Which should be good. So we should hang out with them.
Yeah.
This is going to be their kind of big coming out party. Actually, this will be the first big event for them. The big stand, big booth.
Yeah.
For them. So.
Oh.
Yeah. Good for them.
Yeah.
No, it should be interesting.
Very nice people. Yeah. Have fun with them.
Yeah, absolutely. I was super looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So let's see what's in the news. We did have a brand spanking new Industrial IoT Magic Quadrant report come out.
Here we go.
And
What's so magic about it?
Show me the money. Show me the money.
Cue the sad music. Lumada fell out of the leaders quadrant into the visionary quadrant, just barely. So I'm heartbroken. I paid $1 million to be in the leaders quadrant, and I guess that Hitachi didn't write a new check or something.
That's the magic.
Yeah. It has some this has expiration date, right?
Expiration date.
But it's interesting.
Like the yogurt.
I saw lots of weird companies I've never heard of before, like in the niche quadrant and stuff like that. And then I saw a lot of people complaining angrily on LinkedIn and Twitter about how come their company can't get in there, and this is all BS, and the little guy doesn't have a chance.
Oh yeah,
but people who was complaining, did they pay to Gartner or not? Okay,
And that's why they were complaining. They're like, hey, we got just like the things.io. It's like, hey, we got great technology. It can solve your problems just as well as all of these others. But because we don't have a big checkbook and a big bank account as a giant company, it's kind of a weird deal. Because people would always, when I was participating in that with Gartner, everybody's like, oh, you guys paid to play. And I'm like, no, we didn't. But I don't know. I paid. I paid with a lot of my time answering 1,000 questions in a spreadsheet for Gartner, and Gartner does a lot of work.
Oh yeah,
they do a lot of not only are they analyzing the tech of the people who are in it, but then they start calling your customers to find out if people are actually really using. Do you really have this? Because there's thresholds. You've got to have in IoT. I forgot. There's some minimum number of devices you have to have deployed. And they're going to call customers to prove that you really have that many deployed, just stuff like that. So I know it's not just a paycheck or anything like that. There's a lot of work.
I think that we have enough technical talent, technical knowledge, industry knowledge to do an IoT Coffee Quadrant.
Oh Boom. Yeah. Oh, definitely, Boom. Definitely.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We should. You're. You know what? We should put our heads together and put together the companies, the platforms, or whatever that we think should be in the IoT Coffee Quadrant.
I mean, I'm serious,
IoT
right?
Coffee Quadrant.
And then we could announce it at CES when we're all there together in a few weeks.
Yeah.
And if you want to appear, you have to give a donation, right?
Yeah.
If you have a shitty technology but you want to be there,
exactly. So all you people with shitty technology, but you've got some money, pay to play. Oh, we sound just like Gartner. Oh, well.
I mean, look, I don't know how many times I've had calls from, we won't name the people, but they come out with these, fast adopters and the curves and all of that stuff. I don't know how many times I've had calls. And I'll tell them, they'll ask literally, have you deployed any of this? I'm like, yeah, I've deployed this and I've deployed that. And, this is what's good and this is what's not good. And they go back and then they come out with this report. And I'm looking, I'm like, did they ever say that they talked to me? No. No. And I'm like, oh, so now you guys are the geniuses that have done this. You're talking about the stuff that I told you about, but you won't say Smart Connections Consulting kind of helped us out. Or any number of experts that are sitting over there on the other side of the phone.
Oh, they'll never do that, dude. They'll never do that. I mean, they won't give credit. But in the defense of Gartner, and full disclosure, I used to work at Gartner. The thing is to your point, Rob, there is a degree of rigor that they put into it. You can't put everyone on it, and they tell you have to have a certain minimum of XYZ in order to even be able to place on the quadrant. They have separate reports and analysis that they do for the smaller vendors, right? Like the cool vendor reports and stuff like that. And so that's how you can land on the radar, but it may not get you on the Magic Quadrant. Magic Quadrant is for large enterprise buyers, right? People who are going to be investing in large scale, platform investments or software investments. And so a lot of folks won't show up. But I guess the question really boils down to this: is IoT, even industrial IoT, all about large investments, or is it about maybe smaller investments that are more targeted and application specific, which is sort of what we've seen, right? And over time, we've seen the whole platform play, quote unquote platform play, kind of disintegrate anyway. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
I have another technical question before getting into the IoT. Is the Magic Quadrant the only free part that is shared by Gartner to the people just to motivate them to buy the reports, or there is something else open as well by them?
Oh, they have other reports. They have like a capabilities report And they don't give. I mean, they put some of that stuff out, definitely for promotional purposes. But they also a lot of the clients can reprint the reports, so they can use it for their own marketing, right? And so that's where you can get the free version of the report because the customers pay for the clients pay for the report, right?
Like the client who made it onto said quadrant, Gartner says, if you would like to be able to see the whole report and redistribute it off your website, this will cost you X amount of dollars.
Yes. And then we will send you a lot of love. I still can't do that. How do you do that? Like friggin' love thing. Is it that? Okay.
I don't know.
We'll give you a lot of love.
Yeah. That's it. Okay. Yeah, a lot of love. It's all about reports, isn't it, Leonard? Leonard, you make money selling reports, dude. No. Oh, sure.
Well, that's not my gig. It's not a scalable business model.
You're an analyst. You write reports.
I'm an analyst. I write stuff, and we do have reports. Yeah. And I do a lot of advisory work. Like advisory council work. And
so I wrote not really a report. I did a PowerPoint. I uploaded to SlideShare yesterday and put it on the LinkedIn machine. It was something I'd wanted to get out. Do I keep this secret? So a cool thing I got to do this year is I got connected with people at DARPA, which is the advanced research. So people invented the internet. They're part of the American military. It's there in DC, Northern Virginia. And anyway, I got connected with those folks earlier in the year and had conversations. And basically the way DARPA works, DARPA's made up a bunch of program managers and who have some crazy idea that's keeping you up at night. It can't be some little incremental idea. It has to be life-changing, change the world, moonshot, radical something. And so, if you get in, basically they provide all the money and people around you to try to make your vision a reality, no matter how insane it is. Anyway, the way you go through the process is you create a PowerPoint deck, a presentation, and it starts by you as someone who's maybe trying to get a job there. If you're going to be one of and you present to them. That's how it actually starts. And so with your crazy idea. And so I did that. Needless to say, I didn't get in. My idea is going to take a lot of money. But anyway, my idea that I pitched, and so I put it up on SlideShare. Does anybody remember SlideShare?
Yeah.
I didn't know they were still using it.
I don't know.
I have stuff on there still, yeah. Yeah.
So basically, I put up, and I've kind of talked about this before, and these are concepts like when I talk about submarines or when I teach kids about the science of submarines. It's like connecting dots. So the presentation is how to use the ocean to rescue humanity from global warming, and basically I kind of walk through, governments, companies are kind of kicking the can down the road. They really haven't, they talk a lot. We have these COP 25, 26 events, whatever, Paris, we were in Egypt. Nothing really happens though. There's just a lot of talk. And so there's a worry that it's too late. No one's going to do anything, or no one's going to do enough, because the evidence shows, despite the good workings of lots of people and good conversations, nobody's doing enough. Lots of companies, because they feel it's going to hurt their economies and stuff like that. So anyway, I put together a thing. It's, I've had people reach out to me, well, this is radical, this is so cool. And other people said, this is just, you're trying to, instead of solving the problem of climate change or other thing, you're just trying to take care of a symptom or whatever. And that's probably true, because a lot of people with good intent have tried to solve this climate thing and keep doing it, but no one's doing it. No one's taking action. And so there's depending on who you read or listen to, the scientists, I don't want to say it's already too late, but the fast-moving train that's climate change, we were shooting a BB gun at it, and we waited so long. We needed to have already done something a long time ago, as it turns out. And so now all we can do is try to make it not as bad, or how many people can we save? I know this sounds really horrible.
Like the Ark.
Like the Ark, yeah. And so, Elon's plan is to get everybody to Mars because Earth is a lost cause. And I mentioned Elon at the beginning of the deal. I was like, it sounds really cool to have spaceships to Mars. I've seen that science fiction movie before where they had all the... Actually, remember there was a movie where another planet was going to crash into the Earth? And they only had like 1 or 2 spaceships. And so they had a lottery to see who was going to get off the Earth. Anyway, but it's not practical. And so, what I did is I just dove into what I know, first principles, about how we can live underwater. The oceans are very cold. And so I kind of pieced together a solution to help, and it's not about saving the whole planet, but there are people in different parts of the world or different oceans where their islands are about to disappear and things like that. Or people that live in regions where it's right on the borderline of survivability. It's so hot, just depending on where you are. Other people don't have it as bad or they've got more time. So it's like, hey, we can live underwater on a submarine and the oceans are cold and there's a lot of things. And so I kind of just pieced together nuclear power. This is stuff started with Einstein and then, nailed down in the 30s and 40s. And we built our first nuclear submarine in the 50s. So there's your kind of everlasting energy. Of course, it's interesting that the big news in the last day was the fusion reactor having a breakthrough, which is really cool news. So that's great because that's the whole promise of this. Obviously nuclear fission was easier for us to figure out than fusion. But it's a great way to have nearly unlimited energy. And then I just kind of talk about how you pull in seawater. And this is stuff I teach the kids, in school. We pull in salt water from the ocean. And then we in our case, we used distillation. It's an experiment a kid could do, where you boil the water and have it go over and the vapor, the salt water, and then fresh water ends up on the other side. Obviously, big desalination plants use filters of reverse osmosis. I think, Leonard, you've got one up by Carlsbad or something, probably not too far from you, actually, on the California coast. Yeah. And so that's how we get salt water to fresh water, so we can have something to drink, cool our systems and everything. And then I just kind of talk about, after we did that, we use this other process called electrolysis, which is another science experiment that kids can do, where they put the 2 nodes of electrical deal, and you use it to separate the H2O molecule to get oxygen to breathe. And so we separate that. Now, what's funny is we, on the submarine, send the hydrogen overboard back to the ocean because we just want the oxygen. But now I've had lots of friends say, hey, you should store that hydrogen now because there's new uses for hydrogen tech. So I think that's pretty interesting. We have CO2 scrubbers that pull carbon dioxide out of the air, because even if you're making your own oxygen, you're still exhaling. And at some point, the ratio of CO2 will be so high that you'll fall asleep and not wake up on the submarine, which is kind of a thing. And it's kind of a thing on a global scale, too. But, we won't get into that. And so we have CO2 scrubbers. We have deals to take extra humidity out of the air. The only limitation we have is food, actually. And so, but we're seeing a lot of cool advances in indoor farming, vertical farming. I tell you, I got so much inspiration just from Jules Verne, from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and from the Earth to the Moon. The true futurists were science fiction writers from a long time ago.
Yeah, like Gene Roddenberry already invented everything. Nobody needs to go out and pretend that they can see anything further out than that guy did, in a very scientific way too. I mean, think about like warp engines. Hey, take care.
Adios.
Bye. Awesome idea. Bye.
No, you're right. Roddenberry thought of a lot of stuff. A lot of the science fiction authors, they're the ones who kind of throw the future out there, and a lot of times we follow that. Absolutely.
Yeah. And you know what? You can live off of nori, man. You can just go, and it's like everyone just eats sushi all the time.
Yeah, you get seafood. Obviously, you're right. Jules Verne talked about farming,
seaweed,
seaweed, and you're seeing people. If you read, people are doing vertical farming in the ocean with things going hundreds of feet long. You may not be into that, or we'll have to figure out something else there. And then the internet. We want to stay connected. Well, most of the internet is undersea cables crossing the oceans, actually. And so we just tap into that on the ocean floor to stay plugged in with everybody. Anyway, that was my idea. It probably will cost billions of dollars in capital costs to build undersea cities, but the technology is there today, and it's used every day by people. So it's not something we have to invent in order to do that. And then my idea at the end was to help kickstart it. Is in the U.S., we are decommissioning submarines all the time, older submarines, like a lot of the Los Angeles class submarines.
Yeah.
And we decommission them at Bremerton Naval Shipyard, which is right across the bay from Seattle, up by where I live. And that's basically where they chop up the submarine. They take out the nuclear reactor core and put it on a barge and send it up to a place. Let's tell them, hey, stop tearing them apart. Let's use some of these older submarines as our test bed. Like for trials, you already got a thing today that you're just about to discard, And then my thinking is just near shore, not even more than 100 feet deep or so.
Yeah.
Think those things to the bottom of the ocean. Maybe come up with some cool umbilical thing, from the surface to the sub to get people in there. And those reactors still work. All the systems still work. Let's give it a try. Kick the tires.
Yeah. Well, my whole I guess impression about your post was, if we're going to spend billions and billions, if not trillions, getting to Mars and trying to colonize it in some way and terraform it and do all this crazy stuff, if it gets so bad on Earth where we have to terraform Mars, okay? Maybe the ocean is a better frontier. And like you said, it can be just offshore. It can be just like, it doesn't have to be a submarine. It just maybe a new model. Like, I don't know if you guys ever saw that shark movie where they have like an underwater lab that looked pretty comfortable, actually.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind visiting that place and hanging out there. Yeah. And then look at all the beautiful stuff flying around the ocean. I was thinking, hey, if things got that bad, this is probably a better investment. And like you were saying, you don't have to friggin' rocket yourself all the way to Mars, expose yourself to probably ridiculously dangerous radiation, only to land on Mars and die of cancer in a couple of years. Why don't it's actually not that silly of an idea if that's the purpose, and we get to that point, right? But
I feel like we're getting to that point. We're not really trying very hard to stop it. Lots of great intent, lots of good talk, lots of little things around the edges. And so anyway, but the other thing is, you made a comment. If we get to that point, I feel like you need to be hedging your bets early and preparing something in advance instead of waiting to the very last minute where everybody's like, the house is on fire. And run for your lives, something like that. Obviously now, but it's stuff. And you're right. I'm not espousing putting people in submarines. I was just saying we have those to do a trial with. But the tech my takeaway is the tech, the steel that we use to make submarines, this HY 180 high yield steel.
Only you know that.
It's flexible steel. And it can handle 180 pounds per square inch, or 180,000 pounds per square inch.
God.
Let me rephrase that.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so we already got this, and we have stuff laying around where we can actually just kind of kick the tires and do a POC, if you will.
Oh, no. You're using all the bad IoT words there.
We'll do a pilot. We'll do a trial.
We'll do a POC, and then...
But of course, it's weird when I put myself out there with that stuff. I also get a lot of arrows shot at me because a lot of people, there's a lot of people who don't believe in this stuff is actually happening, and so they bash me and say all
I don't
kinds.
see too many people bashing you. I saw a couple
in other places,
but I mean, no, I mean, but it does challenge the thinking of why the hell are we going to Mars? And what is it that we're trying to do? So we're looking for water. Okay. So what's the intent? And to your point, if it's to save humanity, there's better ways of probably doing that. If it's for scientific exploration and we're going there to kind of further our frontiers, okay, that's fine. But yeah, if it gets to that saving humanity part, then we could probably do that just here on Earth, So
yeah, I don't have a problem with exploring Mars and everywhere else. Humans are explorers. That's what we do.
Oh, yeah.
We go places and we're curious. And so I'm a fan. Go knock yourself out. And people, that's great stuff. And it's great that we're going back to the moon. Yeah. There may be water, I don't know, hiding inside the moon. I saw some movie where it turns out the moon was actually a hollow spaceship.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. That's the one.
That on an airplane.
That's that movie that where the moon, basically collides with the Earth.
Yes. It's one of those movies you only watch on the airplane.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that you wonder, how did it get out of the script room?
There's a lot of movies you're like, how did they get the green light?
How did this get green lit?
Yeah.
Who thought that this was a good story?
I know. It's craziness. But so, along with that pitch I did, obviously I'm writing a book. I've been heads down lately, just trying to get that thing cranked out with specific uses for our IoT tech to fix it. I watch lots of things, I read things, I see webinars, and people still kind of talk kind of generically. Like if your business is more efficient or if your factory is more efficient, you're going to save energy. And they don't really come out and tell you what to do specifically. People need concrete answers to their questions. And so I've been cranking away trying to get this. I tell you, writing a book is such a slog. It really is. Yeah. You get excited early on about doing it. We've read lots of articles, we've written reports and white papers and blog posts and a million other things. And we talk a lot and lots of PowerPoint presentations. But when it comes to really grinding out a book, you start off really excited and then you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm dying, to keep going. It's tough. I mean, but we're cranking away. We're getting it out there.
You said something interesting. When you're talking about how people they speak very generically, right? Which I think that happens across all of these industries, right? And people are taking bits and pieces of various technologies from the edge or the endpoint to the edge to the cloud, and they're taking slices of technology and they're talking about how it does this, right? It does X, it does Y, it does Z. Energy conservation is a huge one, right? So the industrial IoT that's going to save manufacturing and industry 4.0 and all of these other things. And the reason my assessment is the reason that everyone talks so generically about it is that there is no one size fits all. We've said that a million times. So if there is no one size fits all, why not continue with the community conversation around how we actually address the real problem and the simple fact that there is no one throat to choke. It is going to take a group, a bunch of different things to actually achieve the desired outcome.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, and, that is the big gap in how we talk about this stuff. It's just at such an esoteric level, like you were saying, Rob. It's all high level fluff. It's the fun, easy stuff. It's that Gene Roddenberry, Kool-Aid type of stuff that's just really tasty and it draws a big audience, right? But if you've been in the trenches, you know how dirty things get. You know how many tough decisions you have to make at almost every single level. Certain design efforts that you have to put into solutioning that rack your brain. You know, they'll make your brain explode. And then having to negotiate with a bunch of technologists and business people who have divergent ideas or have gaps in understanding. I mean, think about all that stuff that you have to deal with. Starting with technology and then having to translate that into something that actually impacts the business. It's friggin' hard. And when I look at these high-level diagrams, and I've, as a consultant, I've actually produced a lot of that crap. But there's a difference. I've actually built shit. Okay. I've built, designed, I've done crazy crap, and that's why I can build one of these diagrams and I can go down to the nth degree. That's what I think, Rob, like I saw your presentation for IoT community. It was great because you actually outline some real solid patterns, like solution patterns, and how to go to the next level. Then what are the immediate, sort of archetypical benefits that you get out of that solution, right? That's not high level stuff. You're taking it down the levels, and that's what has to happen. And like with your point, Bill, Industry 4.0, I mean, does this stuff really matter? It's so esoteric at the high level, academic. And then when you go and you talk to some of the academics, they have no idea how to translate things down to practical and the solution level. And all that energy that has to be invested into that translation, right? If you've done stuff, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly what Rob's talking about. You know exactly what Bill's talking about. Because that diagram, we look at it in a completely different way, with a lot more depth than just like stitching a bunch of high level crap together. And I think that's the problem, is that those high level diagrams get all the attention, and people really don't want to deal with the dirty stuff that we've gone through our careers. Do you know what I'm saying? Because think about all the crap we have to put up with. When I think about that stuff, man, I just go, wow, how do we ever deliver on anything? Right?
Yeah.
How do we deliver on anything? I mean, tell me I'm talking BS.
No, it's 100%. All right. So 100% accurate, dead on. All right. So this is part of my, when I speak to, the youth that are in college, when I speak to the youth that are in high school, when I speak to the women coders and things like that, when I talk to them about this stuff, am I encouraging them to go out and go get a regular 9-to-5? No, I'm really not. My encouragement to them is don't be bound by what you're taught.
That's
I love it.
Yeah, because that's how I was getting out of the Navy. I went into industry, and at that point, they were like, "Love your out of the box thinking, love the way that you approach problems, but here's your job." And I'm like, "What about all this other good stuff?" No, this is your job.
Yeah,
and you come up with an idea for how to address a set of requirements, and this is what we're going to deliver. And now I've got to defend that. Yeah. I don't want to spend my time or my life defending something that I know is right, that you asked me to produce, and now I've got to convince a bunch of other people that this is the right thing to do. Yeah. And it's just no. I get off my soapbox, but for real, yes, you're 100% right. I can't stand that. I can't stand that in the industry. This is what you do. You're in this box, but we want you to think out of the box. No, get back in your box.
But that's the role of a solution architect. That's what a solution architect is supposed to do. Exactly what you just described. You know, it's not your job to be married to anything. It's your job to figure out what is the state of technologies. How do I select whatever makes the best sense, and then create a blueprint architecture at all these different levels, all the way up to business, what they call business/process architecture, and then work with the organization, IT and business, to make something happen. That's the job, and it's friggin' tough as hell.
Yeah.
You know,
maybe we should have stayed in the Navy, Bill.
You know what? Yes.
No options.
So I got one more idea. We should come up with the Unicorn Chronicles.
I love that. Oh my God.
That's great.
That would be a great book. You know, right? We could probably get Dr. Jeffrey Funk. Yeah, we can get probably Dr. Jeffrey Funk all over that one. He would love that one. He goes around bashing unicorn. I mean, you're talking about chronicling unicorns, right? And how they've actually done. Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, he would be like your primary resource right there.
I love it.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, that's great. But I do think we should take the IoT Coffee Quadrant seriously and come up with our own, and we should put the winners out there while we're at CES, you know.
I'm serious. I think that there's a lot for me. I'm not bashing any of the outside big wig consulting houses and everything. Collectively, we don't have a line to toe. So independently and operationally assessing who's where and what would mean a whole hell of a lot more coming from the IoT team, IoT Coffee Talk team.
Yeah.
Well,
we had done it before. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Oh my gosh, how does it feel to be 26 years old now, Bill?
You know what? This is awesome. I feel like I'm coming into my own.
Congratulations. I'm glad that's happening for you. I mean, you know, we're both young guys, just out of college, trying to find our way. You know, it was like flipping burgers or IoT. I don't know.
You know what? Literally 6 in one end, half a dozen in the other.
Yeah.
That IoT thing, I'll try that.
We'll give it a try. I don't know if there's a future in it. There's definitely a future in flipping burgers, because it turns out people really like hamburgers.
They love them.
In and out.
And is there a hidden message in there, kids, under there? When you're coming up with a solution to a problem, make sure it's a real problem. What is the burning problem that the customer has that needs to be solved with your IoT thing? Or are you just looking for, if you're just a solution looking for a problem, I talk to people, smart people who are doing crazy stuff in IoT and edge and doing a lot of capital expense to do it.
Digital twin.
And I'll sit back and I'll go, what was the burning customer problem that someone approached you with that led you to build this thing, that led you to raise $100 million to build this thing? And most of the times they're like, well, actually, that never happened. We just thought this would be cool. Or we thought, well, we read about reports from analysts and they say edge is going to be hot, so we're going to build this thing. And it's a new way of thinking. I'm not going to say any names, but there are people dropping a lot of money and investing a lot in building some cool stuff.
Yeah.
But it didn't start with a burning problem. We've talked about how IoT, we were way past the nice to have solutions. It's tough times when you're wading through that trough of disillusionment and trying to get to that slope of enlightenment. The only thing that's getting done are business critical, mission critical, I've got to do this, the house is on fire thing. It can't be, refrigerator telling you it's time to buy groceries again, which is how we started this whole IoT mess,
Oh my goodness, do I remember that? I mean, but you and I talked about it. We talked about it, and it's been a continued mantra of mine. I mean, if I get asked, how do you work with so many cities? what is it that you do with so many cities? And I tell them, the honest to God's truth is that I do the stuff that's not sexy. It's just not. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, it's foundational. It's looking at their IT systems before we ever go anywhere OT side, and it's security. It's cybersecurity and privacy. Start there and start inside the city and work your way out.
Yeah. I mean, you're making a great point, man. And that's the way that a lot of these IoT guys need to look at, especially all the sort of Gene Roddenberry type ideas that people, folks with those types of ideas, what they need to consider is readiness. How ready is the market that you think you have to absorb or even entertain what you want to go to market with? And man, going back to that huge thing that I did back in the .com days, where we're all talking about like global visibility and track and trace and blah 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 on the internet, with these transport logistics hubs. Big problem. And so all these things that everyone's talking about with trade lens, blah, 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 all these solutions, we'd already thought about this stuff 20 years ago. Now it's like 22 years ago. The problem, everyone's using paper, fax, and there's nothing you can do about that in the next 20 years because they're still using fax and paper.
Yeah.
So you can have, we came up with shit that was ridiculous, but none of it was ready to go. No. And it's because the customer was using fax machines.
Every kind of industry. People are everywhere are still using paper. People in the field are writing stuff with pencil and paper, going back to the office, transcribing it into their system of record, SAP, whatever. There was a big conversation, I don't know, with the usual friends of ours, Industry 4.0 friends of ours on LinkedIn, and that Industry 5.0 ridiculousness. And I think the deal was, oh wow, we just determined that some ridiculously high percentage of these manufacturers and stuff are still using paper for everything. Yeah. And so maybe we're not on track. And I go, yeah. And I have this other stat, which obviously we can talk about statistics, that says like currently 72% of all manufacturing is done manually by humans. Yeah. And so don't tell me that we're living in the fourth industrial revolution right now, or the fifth one, or doing Industry 4.0 or 5.0 or 6.0, when everybody's still writing everything on paper and most manufacturing is still done by hand, manually by humans. There is a disconnect there between reality and marketers.
Totally.
Big.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter whether it's a utility, whether it's a city, whether it's another company, organization, private, public, it doesn't matter. The notion the notion of wanting to do something quote unquote smart is fraught with issues because you're not solving the foundational problem of where you're at.
Yeah. But you know what? I think it all boils down to collective denial. We want to deny that those problems exist because they get in the way of the sexy panel discussions, and the webinars, which I mean, those are fun, high level discussions, but when you have to get down and dirty with stuff, I mean,
and if you want
to see revolutionary tech, let me just, as we kind of lift up the keyboard, the keyboard on this. Oh, you can't even really see it. Anyway, the fact that an iPad can have a keyboard with a mouse, a trackpad, a mouse on an iPad, that's revolution. Boom. The fact that you can have a little mouse-looking thingy going around your iPad, now we're talking.
Yeah.
Welcome to the future. Welcome to the future, Mr. Powers. How do you like your quasi-futuristic outfits?
Quasi-futuristic.
Oh man.
Yeah. No, it's a good discussion. All right. I think we gotta cut this one off.
This will be my second coffee talk on my new iPad with 5G and keyboard with a mouse.
You know what? It looks great.
And a camera that's in the middle on the landscape cart where it belongs.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Talk about a great portable meeting machine, you know?
Well, I think Apple did one good thing. They repositioned the camera, and then they did a stupid thing is they made that keyboard folio thingy with the kickstand.
Yeah. I'm not a fan. So I've ordered the Logitech Touch whatever thing, which is everybody, and even the people at the Apple store said is better. I just had to wait because they didn't have an updated version for the Generation 10 iPad. But that's like being shipped as we speak. And it's a much better solution. Oh, and how does Apple keep shipping stuff that doesn't have backlit keys? Hello.
Yeah. They do drain battery though. I'll tell you that right now. So
yeah, I believe it.
Something to think about. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it because I think of all the times where I've done coffee talk remotely with the camera over here. Like, hello, I'm on my iPad Pro. I look like this the whole time. Yeah. I was really surprised. In fact, there were a lot of commentary when they launched, because they launched the 10th gen plain old iPad, and they also launched an updated iPad Pro. But the new iPad Pro still had the camera in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And people speculated, because they kind of bashed the new plain old iPad because you could no longer put a pencil on the top anymore. And people speculated, since they moved the camera and all that mics and everything up to the top, maybe they couldn't do it anymore. And I don't know. And so the iPad, and so maybe next year the iPad Pros they'll figure out whatever they need to figure out to still do the magnetic pencil.
They could probably put it on the side.
You could do it on the side, on
the top. Yeah. Maybe not as elegant, but
it probably won't be as elegant. But ironically, I bought a Logitech pencil.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll do a full review.
There you go.
Is it too late to do the unboxing? I could pretend I could rebox it.
You can come on, that's what they all do anyways. They do a rehearsal. Right. That's why you never see any of the plastic wrap. It's always the box after it's had all the junk taken off of it, and then they do the whole staged unboxing.
Yeah. I was always curious, all these people on all these websites is like, are you making a living doing unboxings of products?
Oh my God. Dude, you know what? They have people making mad money with videos of fans falling to the floor. I mean, dude, you know what? There's no money in IoT. There's money in garbage trucks and fans and windmills on fire. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just stupidity is it has a huge market. I mean, fans some people shooting fans with a BB gun. It's got like millions of views. It's just incredible.
I think you just hit something on the head. The money is in stupidity.
Yeah.
The money is in idiocracy. We're trying too hard with smart things.
Yeah.
And that's our problem.
Maybe we just dumb it down, but we should become, marketeers.
we need to get dumb. We need to dumb ourselves down, I think, is the key.
Yeah.
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 Well, happy birthday, Bill.
Yeah. Happy birthday, guys.
Bob.
Thank you. It's an exciting time of the year. And before you know it, we'll all be together in Vegas.
We will. We got planned that. All right. So, hey, everyone, thanks for hanging out with us. It was a long one. Happy birthday to Rob and Bill. It's so great that you guys finally reached the age of 26. I can tell you have the rest of your lives to look forward to. And remember to like, share, and share your reactions. Let us know what you think. And subscribe to www.iotcoffeetalk.com. And we will see you next week. Bye. That's like Christmas, right?
Just about.
It's going to be a special Christmas episode. Yes.
Yeah.
So we will see you.
Yes.
Merry New Year.
Merry New Year. I love it.
Jerk it time.
Need a little thing.
All right. See you guys.
All right.